How's it going, everyone? This is Ben Kadzinker, and today we have two new teasers for you all because I've been busy, been tired. It's been crazy lately. And, so talk about the first teaser. As you can see, obviously, there's a pumpkin-esque theme to it. If you can see that, like, right around that area. Here, I would highlight it, but can't really do that on this. But it's on the stomach. So, yeah. And when we brighten the teaser, we see the text "or was it me" up in the upper left hand corner, and then we also see the text "protect me." So I know I'm just assuming it says "protect me," but given the space and the size of the text, I would say it's pretty safe to assume it says "protect me." Unless you could come up with something better, then please feel free to put that in the comments. But now I'd like to point out this. Inside the teeth of the stomach and in the mouth too, there were parts of animatronics. Um, there's a cupcake. It's a little bit to the right there with two little eyeballs, and there's a Freddy hat right there, which is a little shiny bit between two teeth, kind of on the left side. So, what does it mean? Protect who? Who needs protecting? Someone needs protecting, and then so there's someone innocent and someone evil here, and they're both possibly dead, but they're not. But one of them is, and I'll get into that. So hear me out, okay? We're gonna keep going with this. Just keep listening. Oh, and I just wanted to add in the factor that, given the size of this animatronic, as you could see, he could fit a cupcake. That's one cupcake right there. That's a big cupcake. That's about the size of your hand, maybe. So if you stick your hand in there, you're going to lose a whole arm to this animatronic, whoever this is. Maybe it's a Freddy, maybe it's a Bonnie. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Bonnie, though, because I don't know why. I'm going to predict it as being Bonnie. So if I'm wrong, I'll point it out, but, you know, we'll figure it out when we get there. It's like Gray Bonnie or something, I don't know. There's black animatronics now, because once you go black, you never go back. Don't kill me. No, but really, there could be. Never know. So, adding to my theory from before, well, I was kind of generating one anyway. This is the new teaser that was just released today, about a few hours ago, depending on it if I release this on the same day or the day next. Anyway, you get the idea. Us YouTubers, we're Time Lords. Now, anyway, so obviously there's a spring trap right there. But the text of this image says, "And terrible things come in small packages." And given the size of this animatronic, I'd be willing to say it's a safe bet to say it's a small one. I mean, just looks kind of small. And the website code actually hinted at some things here. Now, I'm going to go way off course here, just for a little bit, and then I'll get right back into the theory, but I just want to add that on to this little factor here, this little interesting observation I've made. As you can see, terrible things come in small packages. Okay, well, that's cool, but where else have we seen small things besides the cupcake, the mini Freddies, but the specific website code for this little guy is translating into plush trap, because Scott has some kind of literal Illuminati code almost going on here with a bunch of letters and numbers, and I cannot decode it. I'm not that intelligent, but I can gather information across the internet, and so can you. But anyway, it's plush trap. So the theme of plush here has actually crossed over from all the way from like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 to 3 to 4 now. And I'll show you where we have seen plush. The first time we saw plush was in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which was, they were desk achievements, really, but I'd like to point out the toy Bonnie in the back, by the way, as like an achievement. Different from the rest of the objects on the desk, most definitely. Except for the cupcake, of course, which is another hint here. So the cupcake's considered plush. And I guess the toy Bonnie is considered plush. These are all considered to be plush objects. There's even more of them in the back toy room, where the marionette is. And then we see them, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, with Shadow Toy Bonnie right there to the right, and little tiny, basically wind-up toy. Ooh, wind-up toys again. Wind-up toy lookalikes of Chica, Freddy, and Bonnie. Perhaps suggesting that plushes will play a big part in this game. And I think that Scott is trying to suggest that basically, I mean, that, you know, that we'll end up okay. He's trying to suggest that there will be a plush game mechanic, like some of the mechanics of the game will involve these little plushies, because the first actual teaser. Let's take a revisiting first teaser. Yeah, the first teaser we had here had 3 plush Freddys. We're going to call them plush now, because that's seems to be the adjective used to describe these little animatronics here, including the cupcake. So that means that these little guys will definitely play a big role in the game somehow. We're not sure how, but we just know that they definitely will, based on all the hype about them, based on all the emphasis lately. It's just very, very likely. So besides the text, there's another thing I want to do with this image. I want to brighten it for you. So as you brighten it, you see 4 different doors here. They look like the doors from the first game, kind of. If in my observations anyway, they look like the doors from the first games. They kind of look like those exit doors from the death mini games, and that's where I'm headed to next here. Is that if you actually take a look, see the night sky out there, and so this reminds me of something. This reminds me of something from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. A death mini game in particular, which was from the Mangles Quest. Yeah, see those big gray exit doors? Seems a bit interesting that they would be gray and everything. But as you see the night sky again. There's windows way up high, or way down low, or plush size as a kid, perhaps. Oops, spoiler alert for the close to the end of the theory. But as you can see, there is windows here, and if we go back and look at the new one, there are also a window of similar variety. But we also saw windows in another part of this game, and that was the part where we were in the hallways. Freddy was walking past a hallway with windows in it. There was a sort of spill there, this water right there. And there's one window in particular right on the floor there. It's a gray one. Yeah, that's a mouse. I don't know, but anyway. So you can see the windows in the right hallway. They look just like the ones from the new teaser, as you can see here. So moving right along into brightening up the image again, I would like to show you something, because I feel that it is important to notice this, just like it is important for Senpai to notice us. We must take a look at the brightened image again, and observe it, and really take it in close, because as you see, there's a purple mark right there. See it? No? I'll show it again. See, there's a purple mark right there behind Plush Trap. That's the nickname for this character, Plush Trap, because that was what the Scott code translated into. It was Plush Trap. So purple mark behind plush trap. What does it mean? There's no real clear markings. It doesn't even look like English by any means. But, you know, maybe we will figure it out. But I think it's an indication of perhaps Purple Man theme. I don't know. But I really do find that quite interesting. So let's go ahead and see what else we can see. Another thing I would like to point out about this teaser is that if you look at Springtrap's ears, right behind them is a slight color disfiguration. I meant Plush Trap, and the interesting thing about Plush Trap is it actually does not look as mangled as Springtrap. If you look at the ears, that was my first clear distinction between the two, was how this little guy's ears are complete, while Springtrap's ears, like one of his ears, is like halved off. So, and the size, just the overall body, you know, the scale of the parts compared to the other parts of the animatronic, or plush, that is. And but just look behind them, you can kind of see like a kid or something. I don't know. It was pointed out in the Facebook comments section of the Five Nights at Freddy's page. I don't know if you all can see this or not, but maybe you can. I see a slight color disfiguration, and there is most definitely one there. If you look, it's really hard to see, but just look it up. There is something behind him, this little guy, and yeah, I don't know. It's really strange. But now getting into the more deep theories, let's get started with those. So one of the interesting things that really stood out to me during this teaser release was that there's a spotlight shining right down onto Plush Trap while the window is square. Okay, I guess I should show you that because, yeah, there's a big difference between those two. So we often see spotlights in interrogation rooms, perhaps. You know, you've seen those. You've seen them in movies, the media, whatever you'd like to use as an example. But there is definitely a comparison here. And because square windows don't make that shape. They don't make that shape of light. We saw that in the other games with the nighttime windows. They would shine square, little square objects onto the ground. But sticking with the theme of spotlights and interrogations, and the fact that it's a wood chair, it doesn't even look that fancy. Like, it doesn't look like a pizzeria chair by any means. It looks like one of those chairs that you sit in. Almost, I personally can almost imagine little handcuffs chaining Plush Trap to the chair, because the hands are on the sides. You know, the feet are kind of spread out. If you can see that, the feet are a bit spread out there. Let me show you. Yeah, I don't know if this makes it any better, but as you can see, the feet are kind of spread out a little bit there. I don't know if you can see it any better this way or not, but you can definitely see it better on blue. Plush Trap's legs are spread as if Plush Trap is chained to the chair, you know, handcuffed by the ankles and the wrists, and you can almost see. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just my little imagination going crazy here, but you can almost see handcuffs on that right wrist. You can almost see like a handcuff type thing. I know you could be arguing that this is, oh no, that's just a part, that's how the hand kind of swivels and stuff. Well, okay, you're right, but what if we look at it this way? What if it is handcuffs? And the reason I'm suggesting this is because interrogation rooms, you know, sticking with this theme of paralyzation, this really just sparked the idea in my head. What if, you know, it sparked the idea of crime in my head. What if the Bite of 87, which was a really hinted at thing in this game, you know, as you can see, there is a really big emphasis on the Bite of 87. Right here you have Nightmare Foxy, they have 87, they had 87 in the Scott's Code. I can't even remember. Yeah, if you remember the Scott 8787 code from the first Five Nights at Freddy's 4 teaser, then you already know that 87, Bite of 87 is a big emphasis in this game, and with all the animatronics going and saying, um, was it me or me, they have different things like that they say. First we had the or was it me thing, right there. And then we had Bonnie say it, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, was it me with you know, Chica. Then there was Bonnie. Foxy says or what or me, and then you have Freddy who came here first. All the nightmares, and they say it wasn't me. Who caused the bite of 87? But then there's a protect me. Who is the innocent person here? Well, continuing on, I know I keep going off track a little bit here at a time, and I might leave something out. I hope I don't. But back when the bite of 87 happened, they said that there was a child who actually lost their frontal lobe. That's what I recall anyway. Their frontal lobe, yes. And the night guard said it's hard to believe that someone could live without the frontal lobe. And what we have to keep in mind is that these tapes were all mixed up, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, these tapes were all mixed together. These, it was Phone Guy. Phone Guy's same voice. It was the same phone guy from the first game in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So those tapes are very old, dating back to 1987, let's say that. Let's say they date back to 1987, so saying that, that these things happened like way early on in the timeline. In 1987, that was when the bite of 87 happened. Now, I really do think it was a bite at this point, and I know one of my other theories discussed that maybe it was an economic bite to the company, or a reputation bite, it's a metaphorical kind of bite, but I really don't think so. And the reason being is that someone who lives without the frontal lobe could be paralyzed. They could live, yeah, they could live quite a long time, I suppose, but and someone from 1987 timeline would still be alive today, especially if they were a kid. It's theme of kids getting killed here, but what if this person was a kid? I sometimes theorized, hey, maybe the Purple Man lost his frontal lobe, but no, I don't think that's the case. I think the kid lost the frontal lobe. I think just the kid that's been theorized over the fandom. Um, and here's why I think this. Not only because there's toy animatronics and there's this theme of plushes and cuteness sometimes. There's a little theme of cuteness and happiness. And then it goes to immediate, like, roar, anger, terrifyingness. That's volatile mood. That's a symptom of not having a frontal lobe, or the frontal lobe not functioning. And I do believe that that could tie in with how this whole game, there's plushies, but then they're bad. Or, you win, but then you have to do it again. It's like an on and off mood swing type of thing. And that's just one piece of evidence. Now I'm going to list more here. So say the kid was paralyzed, or, the kid did grow up, but without that part of the brain there, some of those memories could have gotten removed, which would lead to why there is the question, was it me or me? No one knows who did it anymore because it's impossible to tell. If we could figure that out, we would know the mysteries to life. But there are just so many animatronic choices now that it's ridiculous. It could be any one of the animatronics at this point. Even probably the little ones, although I doubt that, but still, there are so many animatronics now. Jeez, but just so many options here. So the kid would forget, after having that part of their brain removed because it was probably bitten into, infected by the metallic teeth um, of whatever character may exist here. We just, like, I don't even know, but maybe that kid reached their arm inside that tank animatronic. And I say tank animatronic because I mean, honestly, let's be honest. He's a freaking tank. I mean, look at it. Look at the size of him. But imagine a kid sticking their arm in there or something. You know, that kid's losing half their body. But yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility that it could be this one. Maybe this one calls the body of 87. Who knows? That would be kind of ironic, given that the "protect me" text is in there. But yeah. So they could have lost some of their memory, and they wouldn't remember who it was, which means that's why there's all the teasers of was it me, or me, you know, things like that. Or was it me? Again, with the gray animatronic. So we have all that evidence to say that the kid lost his memory, you know, the volatile mood swings, but let's get more into it. Let's say that, you know, someone who lost their frontal lobe could be, you know, they could have nightmares too. I mean, think about it, how they would perceive things. They wouldn't perceive things the same way. Um, and the theme of the nightmare is, well, it's obvious, nightmare theme, but how come the animatronics never looked like this before? How come the plushies never existed before? And you have every right to ask that question. Where did these new animatronics come from? These little mini animatronics, not those ones, but the new ones. These ones right here. Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Well, they came from the original 87 kid's nightmare. I mean, that kid would still be alive today. Imagine how traumatizing an experience that would be, um, to be going through that. He just completely traumatized, perhaps. And I think that would cause a lot of nightmares. And the reason that these animatronics look the way that they do is because, I mean, let's compare it actually, because there's actually a comparison I want to make here between two games. Now, you see these scary features of the animatronics. Why didn't they look like this before? You think, someone built these things? What? No, 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 someone didn't build them. Well, actually, technically they did. The mind of a child built them. The mind of someone who can't make decisions very well, which would suggest why the player dies so many times, reliving the nightmare. But the reason they have these features is because they are constructed that way. They are constructed from the views of a child. You know? That's why Foxy has a tongue now, and stuff like that. You know, that's why the cupcake has teeth. Because of the fact that we're looking at this from a kid's perspective, just like in Among the Sleep. If any of you have seen that series, I haven't played it. Markiplier played it though, and I have to admit it was pretty interesting, how that perspective comes into play. But think about a kid who lost their frontal lobe early on. They would have a lot of their brain gone actually, and their decision making and whatnot. So imagine all the nightmares they would have, how they perceive this. You know, they wouldn't see the animatronics say, "Oh yeah, hey, that's normal" or whatever. You know, they would still see the animatronics how they did as kids. These frightening, you know, absolutely terrifying monsters. That is the type of thing that they would see when they look at these animatronics, because kids find things scary. That's just it. You know, and they see things one way, we see things another. We say, "Hey, silly fox animatronic," but they see, "Oh my God, that thing is like Cthulhu." But so, you know, that's where I find a lot of evidence there, is because it's the perspective of a child. And earlier on, we saw something saying, you know, we saw the um, text that said, "Protect me, protect the child." But from what? What will we be protecting the child from? And, you know, I don't know, maybe we're protecting the child from the murderer? Maybe that's what the child's trying to do, protect the child from a murderer? We don't know. There's all kinds of things that this could lead to here. But the frontal lobe missing does cause memory loss, I've heard somewhere. I can't remember where I heard this, but, so if the memory is lost, then if, you know, the only remnants of memory that they would have of these characters is sorry, my voice cracked, but is, you know, their forms of being monsters, really. I mean, you would just, these are the only memories they would have, is just, you know, they wouldn't remember who bit them, of course not. But they would remember enough to remember the scary features that they saw as their kid perspective. And to add on to that little theory, um, there is actually proof, you know, there's psychological proof here in the field of psychology. I took psychology in high school, by the way. Very fascinating course. I recommend you take it, even in college too, perhaps, if you want, you know. But it's really interesting. I think some of you will like it. But um, psychology has actually proven that, yeah, you never remember the same thing exactly the same way twice. You cannot do that. It's physically impossible. So the features of these characters have, like, over time, adding the kid perspective of horror, over time these characters have become exaggerated, just very extremely exaggerated, to the point where they're just freaking horrifying. Now, that is the reason why I think that we are living the nightmares of the Bite of 87 kid, and you know, we keep reliving it because our brain, you know, parts of our brain are missing here. So I really do think that, you know, we keep having these nightmares about things that we remember from our past, but we can't remember who did it or what they did. You know, we can't remember. We haven't placed the pieces together, which would explain why it has not been filled in the game yet. So, you know, we can't piece the story together yet because we don't remember much from back then. We just remember these horrifying creatures. You know, in the first game, you know, we imagined probably what it was like to be a night guard or whatever, and see the animatronics every night. Maybe we talked to someone, you know, I don't know. But over time, these features would become exaggerated and more horrifying, and because we were bitten. We had to get our frontal lobe removed because of these horrifying beasts. And I'll be honest, this is a bit of a far stretch of a theory, and it's been going on quite long now, but I just wanted to add some theory fuel to here, and I'm sorry I'm kind of stuttering. I haven't talked this fast in a while. I haven't talked about this in a while. I just, you know, I'm tired, long day at work, but I do believe that we are playing as, in the fourth game at least, maybe even the third, I don't know, probably not the third though, but that we were perhaps, somehow we were we're seeing the nightmares of the kid of who had the bite of A7. And I think this kid took a lot of pride in these animatronics. This kid loved the animatronics and didn't make the rash decision, you know, just went and took the job because it's like, hey, I love those animatronics, even if they took out my frontal lobe, but I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyway. And so, you know, that's why we die a lot and whatnot. So this person who had their frontal lobe removed keeps dying because they don't make the good decisions in the game. So be sure not to remove your frontal lobe, people. Really good advice. But anyway, I believe that is it. Yeah, I mean, that really is it. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. Just some theory fuel to add to the fire here. But you know, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, whatever you feel is necessary. You know, the new teaser came out and I was excited. I was like, yes, I want to talk about this one. And then this one came out like right as I was about to talk about the other one. It came out minutes ago. You know, I was prepping the recording, so I had to like redo the whole thing to combine them into one episode. But yeah, I really do hope you all enjoyed this. I don't know what your thoughts are on this whole thing. I don't know where you think this takes place. Some people think it looks like a house, but I really doubt it. I think it's wherever this mangle business took place. Compare the walls of the mangle to the other restaurant where there were, let's see, where was it? Yeah, it was, okay, so compare the colors of this to that. big difference in colors. It's not just because of the image, but there's a big, huge difference in colors. There's violet and there's purple. Okay, one of them is more blue, one of them is more red tint. So either way, we have windows in both of them, so they're both connected somehow, or maybe they're not. But either way, we have the violet and purple. You know, that could lead into violet and purple guy theories that they're different characters because they're different colors. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I just wanted to leave that there for you. That perhaps, you know, I think that the new teaser and this whole window business relate. I think that they all relate, even the hallway business. I think these are all things that relate here because honestly, it just seems likely. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sorry it was a bit of a long one. I kind of combined 2 episodes into one, but you know, that's because I've been really busy. So I'm sorry. And I'm still prepping that special video for you all. It really is for you. I mean, it's just you'll see, but it's yeah, it's going to be really special. Um, it's just been taking a long time because it is going to be a long video. So I'm sorry for all the long videos lately. Terribly sorry. I know those don't grab attention spans much, but I do hope that you will bear through it because I love you, and you know we all can benefit from hearing good vibes and feeling happy feelings and sharing those feelings and blah 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 feelsy cheesy stuff. Anyway, love you all, stay safe, and toodles.